morning and happy Wednesday. Today we are going to be going over our day 12 math. We're going to have a math task, a little bit of refresher on money, and then end it with fluency practice. So let's go ahead and get started. So for our math task, it's letting us know Brian buys a water for 75 cents. He uses 3 quarters. Describe another way Brian could have paid for the water. So over here I have 3 quarters that represent the 75 cents because if you count by 25s, 3 quarters is 75 cents. So 25, 50, 75. That represents the 75 cents that Brian used to buy the water. It's asking us to describe another way. Well, with money, it doesn't necessarily have to be quarters or exact amounts. You can use any denomination of coins. So over here, you can see I just showed another way to show 75 cents. So we did 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, and then we're going to be counting by 5s, 70, 75. So this would be another way for Brian to show how he paid for the water. Again, they do have to be the exact amounts, I'm sorry. It can be any denomination of coins. So it doesn't matter which coins you use as long as they still add up to that 75 cents, just to clarify. All right, now let's go ahead and move on. All right, yesterday we were using mostly the dimes, the nickels, and the pennies, and today they're introducing the quarter. This is what the quarter looks like from the front, and this is what it looks like from the back, and the quarter is worth 25 cents. So whereas we were skip counting by the denomination of each coin, with the quarters you're going to be skipping by 25s. So 25, 50, 75, and then another one would make $1. So always remember that there are 4 quarters in $1. And what we're going to do, we need to start with the coin that has the greatest value. So that's going to be the easiest way for you to count these coins and give a value when given any variety of coins. You're going to start with the coin that has the greatest value, so the quarters, and then you're going to move to the next one, which will be the dime. And remember, you're going to count by 10s with the dime, and then moving on to the nickel, which is 5 cents, and then the penny, which is 1 cent. So if we counted all of these up together, we would know we had 25, 50. Now we're moving on to counting by 10, so 60, 70, because there are 2 dimes. Then we're going to move on to 75, because there's a nickel, and then another 5, which is 80, because another nickel, and then 1 penny, which gives us a total of 81 cents. So let's go ahead and do a little more practice. So we need to count to find the value of the coin. So here we have coins. We need to find their value. So we're going to skip count based on the value of each coin. So here we have a quarter, which is worth 25 cents. And then here we have another quarter. So if we add 2 quarters together, that is 50 cents. And now you see we have a dime. So now we are going to be counting by 10s. So 50 and 10 more is 60. And now we're going to be adding 5 because we're getting into the nickel. So 60 plus 5 more is 65. And then here we have another nickel. We have 70. And then last we have a penny, which is worth 1. So 1 more than 70 is going to be 71. So in that variety of coins, we have a total of 71 cents. Okay, and moving on to number 2, we're literally going to be doing the exact same thing. We're just going to be putting the value of the coin and then counting on based on the value of each coin. Paying close attention, making sure we are skip counting by the value of the coin. Okay, it looks like we're starting out with a quarter, and we know a quarter is worth 25 cents. And then here we don't have any dimes, we have nickels, so we're going to be increasing that number by 5 each time. So 25 and 5 more is 30. Again, another nickel, so increasing that by 5. 30 and 5 more is 35. Another nickel, increasing it by 5 again. 35 and 5 more is 40. And then our last nickel, we are going to also increase by 5. 40 and 5 more is 45. And now you can see we have 2 pennies, so each of those are worth 1 cent. So we're going to increase that number by 1. 45 and 1 more is 46. And finally, the last penny, we have 46, and one more is 47. So the value of the coins in number 2 is 47. Okay, let's move on to our next slide, and it looks like we have some more practice here. It's given us coins that are kind of clustered together, so we need to determine what they are, but here they are outlined to offer some support. And remember, we are going to start with the coins. There are no quarters. We are going to start with the coins that have the highest value. The next highest value would be a dime. So there are 10 dimes, or I'm sorry, 2 dimes, and then we have 3 nickels, and we have 1 penny. So if we go ahead and count those, skip count based on their value, we know a dime is worth 10. Another dime, 10 more, is going to be 20. And now we are getting into the nickel, so we are going to increase that by 5. 20 and 5 more is 25. 25 and 5 more, because that is another nickel, is 30. Moving on, another nickel, 30 and 5 more is 35. And then we had 1 penny that will increase by 1. We have 36 cents. So there's a total of 36 cents for number 1 there. Okay, and moving on to our next slide, it looks like we have some more practice here. Again, another cluster of coins that we are going to need to determine the value of each coin and then add them up together. In this particular cluster of coins, there is 1 quarter, there are 3 dimes, there is 1 nickel, and 1 penny. It kind of has it outlined for us here, which makes it easier for us to count. We just need to increase by the value of the coin each time. Starting with the coins with the highest value, we have our quarter, which is worth 25 cents. And then we have a dime, it's going to increase by 10. So 10 more than 25 is 35. Moving on to the next one, it is worth 10 cents. So we are increasing by 10 again. 35 plus 10 is 45. And then another dime, so that is going to increase by 10 once again. 45 and 10 more is 55. And then we have a nickel, so 55 and 5 more is going to be 60. And then we only have 1 penny, so 60 and 1 more is 61 cents. So we know that number 2, that cluster of coins, has a value of 61 cents. I'm going to go ahead and let you try number 3 on your own. I will just go over the coins, and remember, always remember, start with the coin that has the highest value. So there's 1 quarter, there's 1 dime, there are 2 nickels, and 2 pennies. And if it makes it easier, you can draw them above the line, very similar to what they did here, and fill in the value. And then you're skip counting by those numbers. Again, try it on your own, but if you have any questions, you can either reach out to me on class tag or in the comments below, and I will get back to you with the help that you need. Finally, our last task of the day is our math fluency, where we're needing to show an equation in 4 different ways. And we always start with using any strategy, and the best way to do that is lining up those numbers based on the place value. It looks like this is 19 plus 35. It's addition, so we know we are looking for the sum of these 2 numbers. Let's go ahead and get started. Starting with the ones, we have 9 plus 5, and if we put 9 in our head and count up to 5, we know that we have 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14, remember, the 4 and the 1s is going to go here, and then we do need to regroup, and the 1 that would be in the tens column for 14 needs to go over to be with the other tens, so we are going to carry that over to the ones column. Now we need to add and find the sum of the tens column. So we have a 1 and a 1. We know 1 plus 1, if we put 2 ones together, that is 2. And if we have 2 of something and we're adding 3 more, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, we know that our answer is 54. So 19 plus 35 is 54. They always want us to show using models or visuals, so drawing those base 10 blocks is going to be the absolute best way to show that. As you can see here, I drew base 10 blocks to represent 19, and then I also drew base 10 blocks to represent the 35, and if we added them all together, all of the 10 bars and the ones, this should equal out to be 54. So let's go ahead and count those just to double check. Each time we count a 10 bar, we are counting by 10. So we have 10, 20, 30, 40, and there should be one more 10 bar. We need to trade out, we would need to trade out the 10 ones for the 10 bar. And now we need 9 ones to represent 19. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then the 5 ones to represent 35. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if we trade it out, so these numbers represent the equation. Just know that if we traded out 10 of these ones and traded them out for a 10 bar, we would have 5 10 bars and we would have 4 ones left. But this represents the equation. So either way is a great way of showing you're either representing the equation or you're representing the sum. Moving on, we need to write a story. So in this story, we're basically taking the equation and we're creating our own word problem. So this one I came up with, Jack read 19 pages of his book in the morning. He read another 35 pages after lunch. How many pages did he read in all? So that is a representation of how to show it using a story. You're just coming up with the word problem. And then the last thing we're going to go over today is how do you know your answer is correct? And we know our answer is correct by checking our work. Because this equation is addition, we are going to do the inverse operation, which is the opposite, and we are going to subtract. So we are going to take the sum, which was 54, and then we are going to subtract it from one of our add-ins. And then when we subtract that, it should equal our other add-in, and if it does, we know our work is correct. Again, I want to wish you guys a happy Wednesday. We're midway through the week. I hope you all have a wonderful day and are staying safe. I miss you all very much. If you or your families have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Also, as a reminder, pick up you are able to pick up your final distance learning packet this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Harding Elementary. Let me know if you have any questions. We will talk soon. Goodbye.